Now she's beatboxing. Okay, jokes apart. Let's get straight into business and jump back into Photoshop. Now I have reloaded the image. This is actually the finished one. So I have reloaded the image straight from the beginning. Also, the link to the image, I'll link up in the description below so that you, my friend, can download and work on it. Now, the first thing that we need to do, we need to zoom in tight and we need to make a copy of this background layer. Make a copy. Press Ctrl J and delete the background layer. What this does is that this unlocks the background layer. Also, what you can do is, let's go back to what you can do is you can double click the background layer, select the layer name. Okay, let's select back and click OK. This will also unlock the layer. Now, the first thing we need to do, we need to localize the area that we are going to edit. In this case, it is the mouth. So to do that, select the polygon lasso tool. What is it? Polygon lasso tool. Let's select that and select the area around the lips. Select the maximum area so that we have the flexibility that later when we move the lips a little bit, it doesn't hurt that so much. It doesn't make sharp edges and we have something to soften. So we need to select a space around the lips. Once you do that, press Ctrl J. Okay, press Ctrl J. What that does is that makes that area into a different layer. Okay, so we still have the background layer with every part intact, but we have a separate layer for that lip area. Now we can freely edit this, do whatever we want. We can move this and do stuff, but let's keep it as it was. Now the second step is to delete the thing which is inside the lip. In this case, it is teeth. Otherwise, it would have been like Lil Wayne has golden teeth, or you can have anything like piercings or something. So delete anything which is inside the lips. So to do that, select the polygon lasso tool again, or your favorite selection tool. I personally would like to use polygon lasso tool in this case. So simply select the lips. Also leave some space which will smoothen later. You can take some of the teeth too, so that's not an issue. As you can see, I'm leaving some spaces. That's completely fine. And once you're done with the selection, and this ant little thing will come like running ants, press delete. Nothing happens. Why? Because background, there's a layer. Actually, that thing happened. Press Ctrl D. If you're using a Mac, Command D. And let's switch this layer off. As you can see, there's nothing in the background. Why? Because we pressed delete key. So if I turn this back on, yeah. So we have removed the teeth from this image. So to separate them, simply just turn this layer off for now, and let's select the polygon lasso tool again and simply make a line dissecting the lips into two. You don't have to be extremely perfect in this, but I insist you to be quite a little bit perfect so that the end result is good. There. So Ctrl Shift J. Now as you can see, this is a separate layer and this is a separate layer. Both are separate. But also there's a problem here. See this line, kind of a thin line here? We'll get over it soon. Don't worry about it. We'll manage that later. So these are separate. Now let's name it. So this is the upper lip, right? So let's double click on the layer name and type upper lip just for convenience, and this one is the lower lip. Just name it lower lip. Okay, let's go to the upper lip, and we would go to Edit, Puppet Warp. Now this brings up a kind of the Puppet Warp tool into your workspace. Now what this does is through Puppet Warp you can actually morph this area, you can move this area, you can we have to do. Don't click here, I just did for demonstration purposes. So let's load it up again. Edit, Puppet Warp. Now first select the places which you don't want to move intact. So let's click 2 points at the corners of the lips. This sets it right into the axis, and let's do that again. And then let's make a point in the middle of the lips. Okay, so this is the middle of the lips. You don't have to look photograph. So you don't have to select this area, you have to select this area. So once you do that, let's simply drag it down. Drag it down. Okay, so we have dragged down the upper lip. Also, this is kind of protruding. We can create a point here. And we can bring this down too a little bit. Also, had we not created points here and here, what would have happened that if I had created a point here and moved it down, so along with this part also would have come down. So we are fixing these points as an axis on which we are moving the lips. Press enter, we are good to go. Now let's move up the lower lip. So let's select the lower lip and go to Edit, Puppet Warp again. And which parts do we don't want to move? Simply this part and also this part. Okay, let's select the middle. And this, since the lower lip is much bigger than the upper lip, what we have to do, we have to select a point in the middle, select a point between these and these, select a point between these and these. Okay, now let's bring it a little bit up. Okay, so don't worry about that much perfection right now, because we are going to cure it with Liquify. Okay, so does a pretty good job, amazing job. Now let's press enter. Simply, it has done a brilliant job. Now what we can do, we can go to Liquify, Filter, go to Liquify. In Liquify, let's zoom in a little bit, sorry. And then, which layer are we editing now? The lower lip, right? We are editing the lower lip. So make sure that this show backdrop is checked, okay? Use all layers is checked, and mode in front is checked. Then we want to edit the lower lip. So what do? Select the upper lip. So this way, just the upper lip shows up. Had I clicked all layers, and if the background layer was turned on, everything would show up. So make sure this upper lip is selected, and you can increase or decrease the opacity of the upper lip using this slider. Okay, so let it be that. And in fact, I can actually make it full so that I can see that. But remember, so let's bring it, nudge it up a little bit. Okay. So this is not happening because let's bring the opacity down. Now let's try. Yes, when the opacity is completely full, you just cannot edit it. That's one of the things that you cannot do. So let's bring the opacity a little bit down, and let's try to edit it. Let's take it a little bit up until the lip is closed. Okay. Simply, also in Liquify, you don't have to do everything at once. Don't do it like that. Okay. How would you decide the brush size? Whatever you want to move, the brush size has to be a little bit larger than that. So in case we want to move the lip up, the jawline area. So the jawline area is this big. We need a little more bigger brush, and we are good to go. Make sure you overlap it a little bit. And once you do that, once you're happy with your results, click OK. Boom. Now there is cleaning up. Now, as you can see, the upper lip has brought with it a little bit of teeth. We need to clean that. To clean that, simply just select the upper lip and zoom in a little bit. Also select the brush and make a mask. Click this. If the mask is white, so it's white, and make the brush a little bit smaller. Black is already selected. Okay. And if this is not black, double click it and select black, and simply paint over the areas where there is a little bit of white. Make sure the flow is 100, the opacity is 100. Okay. And simply select over the areas, paint over the areas where you think the a little bit white. Okay, we did that. Let's come back to the lower lip, and here also we create a mask and select the ear. No, this is not looking good, not looking good. What if we turn off this and see what happens? Okay, okay. We need to cut a little bit more. Let's go back to the mask of the upper lip, and let's go again, select, erase the rest of the teeth. Yeah. So I have deleted a lot here. So what I can do is I can go back and select white here. So to set this to white, press X, so the color will be changed. And then when you paint it over again, the thing that you have erased will come back. Simply. Now, this is good. I'm happy with it. Let's zoom out a little bit. Yes, this is looking fairly nice. But there is a thing yet to be done. Now, if I turn on this layer, it's looking good. But as you can see that here are a few sharp edges. These are not looking natural. How we can get around this, how can we solve this, is we can always go ahead, let's turn off this layer and select the upper lip, the mask of the upper lip, this one, and make sure brush is selected. And then let's make the brush a little bit bigger and decrease the flow. Okay, decrease the flow to around 30. And paint over this area until the edges become soft. Yes, we are painting with white. Paint with black. Okay, then it will get erased. So it's getting soft. Zoom in a little bit. Make the brush a little bit smaller. And paint over the skin. We just need the lips. And the lips merging gradually with the face. Okay, so yeah, be careful around the edges. Oh, this is fine. Here too. Always be careful around the edges. Now let's go back to the lower lip, and we are going to soften the lower lip. Also, there's one more thing that we can do. We can soften here to it. We can see a little bit of hard edge right there. So we can always go ahead and soften this up. No, this is not looking good. We can go to the upper lip and soften this up. Make the brush a little bit smaller. And come here to the mask. Don't select the layer. And soften this up a little bit, just a little bit, so that it looks natural. And let's come back. Let's look here, whether it's looking natural or not. It's natural. It's good. Let's select white and paint over a little bit. And let's come back to the lower lip. And we need to make it softer too. Make sure you have black selected, and then just simply paint over the edges to make it soft. Now I think we are good to go. Let's turn on the background layer. Yes, we are good to go. It's looking good, isn't it? Something is wrong. Yeah, you can see a line here, line of the lip right here. So you can select the lower lip and select the white color and paint over this line. Okay. Now I think we're good to go. Right? Are we? I think yes. So let's look at the before and after of how it was before and how is it now. Let's make a group of these two layers and press Ctrl G. Select both the layers by holding the Controller command in Mac and press Ctrl G to make a group. So this was before, this is after.